Good morning, everyone. It is May the 1st, which reminds me I have a birthday this month that I need to remember. So, youngest, most feral is on top of mind, sort of. I was like, oh crap, it is May. I love how I'm always shocked, even though I tell you guys the date every day. I'm like, it's a new month. Like, it's a surprise to me. Good morning, Wolfram. Thank you for all of your modly mod duties. As always, it is so appreciated. 80s Music Man, Tammy Bogard. Let's see here. J. Buck and Jason J, and Alice G. So we have a lot of news. It's going to go a little bit longer since we don't have any Karen Reed to go to. So that is, you know, I'm liking the Karen Reed trial, but having a day off to get stuff done is also really, really great too. I'm working on a longer form video of the Lori Vallow, trial case. A lot of longer videos are longer articles that don't quite go in Mornings with Mo. I'm going to make standalone videos so you guys can have newsy nuggets all throughout, even though I'm doing Karen Reed. And I am going to make up for a terrible date night. I am sorry, Mr. Mo. Uh, my body just, the joys of living with a chronic issue. We went to a nice, steakhouse, one that we had kind of earmarked for our anniversary, and my body just decided to go, as we sat down. So, going to make him some of my own homemade bacon French onion soup, uh, and share it with him, which, I mean, usually I just let him smell it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna make a double batch so we can freeze it because I'm one of those weirdos who would eat soup like rain, shine, winter, summer, spring. I love soup. Don't know why. It could be like 827,000 degrees out and I would eat soup. But Mr. Mo did ask if I would make a double batch, and I figured since I kind of ruined our night last night just being, body issues, I figured I'd do that. Now, someone else who is also having issues today, of a more serious kind, not so much, French onion soup kind. John Elway's former agent passed away after a golf cart incident that involved the ex Broncos quarterback. So there are still details emerging from this. There was actually an update on this particular article that unfortunately Jeff Spurbeck had passed away early Wednesday morning as a result of the injuries he suffered from Saturday's golf cart incident. He was 62. So John Elway's business partner and former agent has passed away after falling off a golf cart that Elway was driving. According to TMZ reports, Jeff Spurbeck, 62, was riding in the back of the golf cart Saturday evening at La Quinta, in La Quinta, California. I thought he was going to be at the La Quinta. Now, I'm guessing John Elway doesn't go to like a Motel 6 or a Motel 8 or a La Quinta. So who knows? I'm guessing he was at like the Four Seasons or somewhere, a little bit more bougie than anywhere like that. Uh, Now, it does look like he fell and hit his head on the asphalt. He was rushed to Desert Regional Medical Center in Palm Springs. Unfortunately, it didn't seem like there was anything that they could do. Again, head injuries are extremely critical and very tricky. The brain is a confusing organ. Now, TMZ did confirm that Elway was driving the golf cart when the incident occurred, although there is no indication that he did anything wrong, that he was driving recklessly. I'm sure there will be a large investigation about this, especially with, a former quarterback being involved and, being on a golf cart. Now, the former Broncos quarterback did immediately call 911 after he noticed that his partner had fallen out. He and Spurbeck reportedly attended a party with their spouses before this incident. Riverside County Sheriff's Department told KESQ in Palm Springs that they had launched an investigation into the accident, and the sheriff later released information confirming Spurbeck's death. I'm absolutely devastated and heartbroken by the passing of my close friend, business partner, and agent, Jeff Spurbeck. There are no words to truly express the profound sadness I feel with the sudden loss of someone who has meant so much to me, Elway said in a statement. My heart and deepest sympathies go out to Jeff's wife, Corey, his children, Carly, Sam, and Jackson, and everyone who knew and loved him. Jeff will be deeply missed for the loyalty, wisdom, friendship, and love he brought into my life and the life of so many others during the years. Elway played 16 years from 1983 to 1998 in the NFL. All of those years were with the Denver Broncos. He won back-to-back Super Bowls with the team in 1998 and 1999 prior to his retirement. He then went on to, work as Denver's general manager from 2011 to 2020. In 2013, he and Spurbeck also started Seven Cellars Winery together. So hopefully, everyone is supporting and the family who had lost their husband, father, brother, friend. It seems like one of those unfortunate accidents. And thank you for joining me on the Green Machine, Brian TV. Welcome, welcome. So again, a sad story. We will have to wait for more information to see if there was any toxicology or anything like that. I mean, let's speculate, not crazy wildly, that if they were at a party, maybe there were some, there was some drinking, even just social drinking. So there might be some investigation into that. Again, remember, this is speculation. I am just maybe thinking of things that the investigation may look for. I am not claiming that anyone was actually drunk. I am simply speculating that that's probably going to at least be something, unless it is, being investigated by Trooper Proctor, that one would look at. Now, in sad news for those of us who have moms from the 90s, check on your moms. They are not okay. Michael Bolton reveals that he has incurable brain cancer and is facing the reality of mortality. Now, sir, I have never been one to. Okay, whatever this hair, stop it, Michael Bolton. What is this? Stop. You look like Phil Spector with a bad wig. And I feel bad saying that because I know that now you are having a medical emergency, but could we just have a high and tight? Like, you looked good with the Greek look. All right, Mr. Bolton. Look, I have made enough fun of you from watching, Office Space. I am trying to give you your due. Michael Bolton has been diagnosed with glioblastoma, a treatment-resistant brain cancer that was behind the emergency surgery that he had 16 months ago. After the surgery, during which the tumor was removed in its entirety from his brain, the "How Am I Supposed to Live Without You" singer stayed quiet about the details. But now he's talking about having a heightened sense of appreciation and making the best of a bad situation. Good morning, Anders and Captain Kern Makes. I saw you 14K. Awesome sauce, dude. Can't believe it. I mean, you're doing so great. Again, if you like watching people that understand computer magic and how to create things with a computer with those little printer dealies, Captain Kern is awesome at that. He understands, he can talk to computers, he can paint with all the colors of the bits. Um, these are things that are beyond me. And to whomever asked me something about their Bitcoin wallet in a comment, I'm pretty sure it's a scam, but I'm also the very last person you should ever ask for technical advice. I have no idea what the random, sentence of words you sent me means, but best of luck to you, on your technical journeys. Just I am not the guru you are seeking. Now, succumbing to the challenge is not an option, Bolton told People, revealing his diagnosis in an exclusive interview published Wednesday. You're really quickly drawn into a duel. I guess that's the way you find out what you're made of. Now, Bolton's daughter, Taryn, I didn't know he had a kid. I have I have missed out on the Bolton verse, apparently. Uh, said that She kind of went on to describe some of the symptoms that led to him, seeking out treatment and getting this diagnosis. First was some nausea issues and balance issues during November 2023 at a charity performance on Richard Branson's private island. So, and that was kind of attributed to stress and maybe poor diet, exhaustion, overwork. But it was weird, but it didn't raise alarms. Then after Thanksgiving, the family went Bolton and bowling, not Bolton, bowling with Bolton. Now that would be a YouTube channel I would watch. I don't know why, but bowling with Michael Bolton, I'd watch the hell out of that. So during this bowling sort of time after Thanksgiving, Bolton repeatedly tried to bowl out of turn. He wasn't quite keeping up with his either space and, the rotation or, able to kind of follow things. And that's when people really started noticing something was off. When you look back at everything together, we miss so many things, Taryn told the outlet. The diagnosis and brain surgery came soon after that. Bolton has been out of the limelight since right after that December 2023 surgery, which was followed by a second one the next month after he developed an infection. His chemotherapy and radiation treatments ended last October. And as someone, look, I have never been through chemo, but I have been through ketamine infusions, which for what they were supposed to help me do, they completely drained me, made me feel just god awful, and that's really the only thing I can liken it to. So I understand that it's not even a patch on what chemotherapy and radiation is, but my heart and just absolute admiration for people who have battled cancer and have gone through chemotherapy and radiation, because if I felt that bad on ketamine infusions, I can't imagine how bad chemo and radiation, has to just suck the ever living soul out of you. Now, he has finished his treatment, but has chosen not to receive a prognosis. I just wanna keep going. I feel there's a lot I can still do on the fight side, the 72-year-old singer said. "I've got a title for a song. It ain't going down without a fight." Glioblastoma is one of the most aggressive forms of brain and spinal cord cancer, according to the Glioblastoma Foundation. Unfortunately, the average survival time for people who get treatment is about 15 months after the diagnosis, compared with 3 to 6 for people who don't get the diagnosis. While research on new treatments is promising, according to the Mayo Clinic, the condition has no cure. Most people are diagnosed in their mid-60s. He does spend time with his grandchildren at his Connecticut home with his 3 adult daughters and 6 grandchildren. Again, I had no idea Michael Bolton's had kids. Oh my gosh, Bob, if you wanna cry, like, ugly cry, like, and ladies, you know what I'm talking about. You have a day where you just need to ugly cry. Watch, watch Johnny Cash's cover of Nine Inch Nails' "Hurt." The video especially is just so poignant, especially if you know anything about Johnny Cash's life, and, all the struggles he had. It is absolutely like, I ugly cry all the time. If you wanna ugly cry, watch people reacting to "Hurt." It's yeah, that video takes your soul and it's like, you never wanna feel happy again? But it's a good sort of sad because, it really seems impactful and profound, but it's still like, gosh, why do I continue to, watch this thing that's going to make me cry? Women, I'll never understand us, and I am one. So I hope that Mr. Bolton has, healing and healthy time with his family. It's what we all want. I hope he's able to enjoy his life and this doesn't hang over him and he can live to the fullest. And maybe there will be new cures fairly soon. Maybe these new treatments will be promising. So, and, even if they're not, he has raised awareness. I didn't know a lot about glioblastoma or glioblastoma. So, again, getting it out there and maybe reminding us to take a good look at our health once in a while. And if things start going a little wonky on our bodies, go to the doctor. Maybe it's nothing, but maybe it's something we've just been ignoring for too long. Well, I don't know who needs to hear this public service announcement, but if you are a cop, even if you are from New Jersey, do not break into your ex's home and threaten to torch it while they're inside. I think that's called a felony. A New Jersey cop, Rebecca Saig, smashed through her ex's door with a baton and threatened to burn down the house during a violent home invasion. Usually they just call those no-knock warrants. She just mislabeled it in her report. That's just what happened. And good morning, Slinky and Granny Smith. Welcome, welcome. The off-duty New Jersey cop charged with home invasion targeted the home of her former boyfriend, breaking in and going on a violent and destructive rampage, as one does on a Wednesday, apparently, before threatening to torch the entire joint. Court documents revealed on Tuesday. Tom Rivers police officer Rebecca, I'm going to say Sag. Look, look, Becca, come on. This is ridiculous. She allegedly used her baton to smash through the front door of her ex's Berkeley home around 11:20 p.m. on Friday because, she had to get there before midnight or she'd turn into a pumpkin. It's a reverse Cinderella B&E. If she doesn't break in before midnight, then she loses all her shoes. I don't know. She's working on it. Her defense attorneys are working on it. She confronted him and the woman who was also in his home, according to an affidavit of probable cause obtained by NewJersey.com. The cop, 32, got into an argument with the pair before she started pushing and shoving both of them, as one does. Both victims attempted to hold her down in the living room before the suspect broke free and allegedly smashed many items and pictures on the walls. She was also accused of brawling with responding cops and resisting arrest. Well, I guess she got decentralized. Don't tease me, bro. As she was walking down the driveway, she allegedly also threatened to torch the house. Now, before the alleged break-in, she was accused of trashing the hood of one of the victims' cars. Rebecca was charged with home invasion burglary, 2 counts of assault, 2 counts of criminal mischief, terroristic threats, and resisting arrest. As you do. She that's not even a hat trick. What do you call 4 goals in a row in hockey? Is that just called like a double hat trick or like a super hat trick? Sporty people would know. I do not. Now, her lawyer told the outlet that his client understands just how serious these particular, charges are. Also, how is this? Look, can I speak some truth here for just 2 seconds? Now, this woman is it looks like 102 pounds soaking wet. Now, again, I am not a fan of Timothy Chamlet or Omelette or whatever his name is because he's a little twig boy. I'm always if I have to call the cops, for an alleged like shenanigans issue, I'm hoping I'm getting a 6'4", like 250-pound person that can handle shenanigans, not a 14-year-old who looks like she's cosplaying as a cop. And I'm not trying to be against women in any sort of service. I think that there are places for women who can pass the same rigorous physical tests that men do. But I'm sorry, if Mr. Mo decided to go ape or I decided to go ape, I don't think this little 14-year-old girl's gonna stop me. Hell, this little, this little twig girl over here just caused crazy amounts of damage. No, I want a big strapping burly dude. Like call me crazy, call me an internalized misogynist, but I want a big dude. If things are going down, I want a big burly dude. That's why I keep Mr. Mo around. um So her lawyer continued after claiming that she understands just how serious these charges are. She's been a member of the Toms River Police Department and proudly served her community for almost 9 years, Terrence Turnbaugh said in a statement. She is taking all the appropriate actions to properly address the matter at hand and will remain cooperative during the pending legal process. Now, she previously sued her department for alleged harassment 6 months before Friday's incident and was suspended without pay, the Ocean County Prosecutor's Office told the publication. So there you go. In what in the Hades is going on here, we have, and I understand that this is a little bit more political, but I am going on the, kidnapping a mom and daughter and not so much the illegal immigrant part of this. It's more the true crime, what the hell kind of thing going on. Illegal immigrants in North Carolina kidnapped a mother and infant daughter allegedly at gunpoint after the family refused to pay a $1 million demand. Uh, no. Thank you, Tammy. I wondered if there was a name or not, but good to know. A pair of illegal immigrants and another man kidnapped a terrified mother and her infant daughter in North Carolina Monday after the family refused to pony up $1 million. Well, I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I don't have $1 million in my Duke mayonnaise, jar in the backyard. So I'd have to like look in the couches, you know, start an OnlyFans page. I mean, it's gonna take me a minute to find $1 million. Now, a million pennies, I could probably work out for you. Change the denomination and we can work with you. Uh, Paula Duran, you have got to be kidding me. 25, and her brother, Michael Angel Duran. I shit you not, people. 23, and Leo Estrada Hernandez, 37, are accused of taking the pair at gunpoint before freeing them. Duran, that's it. That's it. Final form Jesus is coming today. Duran is out here kidnapping people. Allegedly in Minecraft, and only if it's, y'all, I am not making this up. Miguel Angel Duran. And then Paula Duran. Now, I'm probably mispronouncing those, and I would be in trouble if I lived in the EU, but I don't. So there you go. Now, the Garner Police Department is thankful that these victims were recovered safely, the police said in a statement, and we appreciate the support of our community as we work tirelessly to arrest the suspects responsible and uncover the motive behind this crime. While the siblings were arrested Wednesday, the third suspect, Estrada Hernandez, remains on the loose and a subject of a $10,000 reward for his capture. The two busted suspects were in the United States illegally and facing ICE holds, according to local reports. The status of the man still being sought is not clear. The harrowing abduction began Monday night when the masked trio, armed with force multipliers, allegedly shouldered their way into the home of Eleuth Alejandro Martinez, demanding money, according to the police. Now, the police said the victims claimed to investigators that the kidnappers wanted $1 million, but Martinez refused to pay. The kidnappers then allegedly wrapped him with duct tape and fled with his wife, Alejandra Michelle Benitez de Jesus, 26, and the couple's 11-month-old daughter, Gracia Salom Alejandro Benitez, in a black Nissan Altima. Oh, she's got a little walk of shame. Isn't that bad? And her bra strap showing. Just never can be classy when you're doing the walk of shame. Investigators quickly uncovered evidence and began to follow multiple leads to locate the victims. According to a press release from the Garner County Police Department, the kidnappers did eventually let the mother and daughter go, and the two ran to a woman's home, frantically knocking on her door early Tuesday morning looking for help. The homeowner did call 911 and the police arrived to collect them. Now, the Duran Duran siblings were tracked down in less than 24 hours. Well, Duran Duran is popular. You can find them in most Spotify lists. Uh, so they have been charged with multiple counts of kidnapping, if you can believe it. I mean, who's shocked? Now, the FBI said investigators are still looking for the third suspect, Estrada Hernandez, who is charged with multiple counts, including kidnapping and assault. Hernandez is described as a 5'4" gentleman who weighs approximately 190 pounds. He has black hair and brown eyes with multiple tattoos on his forearms. Now, if you happen to see Mr. Estrada Hernandez, please call the police. Do not try to take him down by yourself. Just for everyone. Don't. But I'm glad that the wife and daughter were okay. I am sure they're going to have a lot of trauma and, different things that they're going to need to deal with for this. And I hope that the criminal justice system gives these, dumpster fire human beings, just a taste of their own medicine. It's not kidnapping if it's prison. In something that again is a bit more political, but I think is a very important issue, and I'm glad that we're finally getting these ridiculous rejects who call themselves politician to finally agree on something that can help like regular people. Because I don't know about you, I'm a political junkie, but I get a little tired of them not doing one thing but running their mouth holes. A veteran self-deletion prevention grant is getting bipartisan support in hearings. So while it still has a bit to go in the political kabuki theater, it is encouraging to see that there is some bipartisan work to get a very serious problem for our service members taken care of. So hopefully this continues to move forward, even in the, at the speed of government, because this is a big problem. And from a service member family, I can tell you that, it is a worry and we need to do better by our veterans. With mental health issues and the subsequent acts that go with them, claiming the lives of about 18 veterans each day, back-to-back congressional hearings this week have focused on bipartisan efforts to reauthorize the Staff Sergeant Parker Gordon Fox self-deletion prevention grant program and push back against what lawmakers call, political shenanigans. So I'm not going to spend too long on this, but I am encouraged. I do hope that this moves forward. I do hope that each and every politician gives their own shoulders a firm yank and gets their heads out of their behinds and works for service members who put their name, put their lives, and put their time on the line for, regular citizens like me who failed basic training and the rest of us. I really do hope that they do that. And good morning, Jen the Couch Fairy. So gird your earloins because we have come to the part of the program where, well, Lord Chippy may be summoned. So there you go. You are warned, Lord Chippy awaits. Now, this absolute monster wrapped in a nurse's uniform, I did a Lord Chippy bites on her, but apparently there is more to the story that just makes us want to, rewind and press replay on Lord Chippy. A Florida nurse's revolting excuse as to why, she was caught by her husband sleeping with her 15-year-old stepson. Yes, I said that right. Husband walks into her abusing his stepson, and she apparently had a reason. Now, I don't know, other than like, I am a gross dumpster human and, I can't think of anything else but maybe Satan. But no, apparently she did have an excuse. Now, the Florida nurse who is accused of abusing her stepson and has lost her medical license, gave a revolting excuse to her husband after he walked in on the crime. Now, Alexis Von Yates, 35, attempted to smooth things over with her husband. After she was caught red handed, completely nude under a blanket last July during the teen's visit to his father's home in Florida. Von Yates, who had her, single state nursing license revoked last week as she awaits a criminal trial, claimed that the teen looked like a younger version of his father. The That makes it grosser, you disgusting piece of human garbage. That makes it so gross. No, no, that doesn't excuse it. That is grosser. Oh my God. This is why Final Form Jesus is coming down. I hope y'all are ready for the rapture. Make sure all your loose change is in your pocket. I don't even know what to say. Quote, the child victim heard the suspect telling the father that she was sorry and saying that the child victim looked like his father when he was younger. The teen told the police, according to an affidavit obtained by this particular outlet. Now, during that late night confession, Yates allegedly said that she had told the teen to stop, but they continued their romp, a claim that the boy disputed during his interview with the police. The child victim told his father that this was untrue, saying she was telling him to keep going, the document read. Now, Yates had finished putting her two younger children to bed on July 26, 2024, when she returned to watch the movie The Terrifier with her, stepson. The teen's father, a lineman, so not for football, but people that work on the power cords and things. And again, sir, I know you are probably not having the greatest day, but to all the linemen that work to bring power back to our communities and, communications after every storm, thank you so much. I know it's a weird segue, but I really do appreciate it living somewhat rural with somewhat temperamental power to see people working in, snow, thunderstorms, high wind to get it all back. It really is appreciated. Now so he was a lineman and still at work when the two began talking during the movie before Yates brought up how just, she needed a little marital time with her husband. She was horny, which I don't know how that even comes into a conversation with a minor who is your stepson, but okay. Now, Yates stated that her heightened state of needing to get some D down was from not having, the smexy time with her husband in 2 weeks and being on her cycle. The contact just began with cuddling and making out before the two gave each other mouth hugs of a sort and slept to each other without protection. Now, the boy entered the father's home to find his son running into the bathroom with his pants down around his ankles and his wife naked under a blanket. Following a heated confrontation between the, soon to be divorced couple, the teen rushed to his grandparents' home where he spent the night. As he packed his things, he heard his father yelling at Yates, calling her the C word. Yes. A child predator. Check, check. Monster. Gross. Disgusting. Uh, Ew. Just ew. Now, he also overheard the suspect telling the victim father that she was sorry and, claiming that she just can get past him looking like a younger version of the father. Yes, predators can be female, and we call them out here. And this is my favorite picture of this because, ma'am, this is what we call FAFO. Um, Now, I don't know how much Elizabeth Arden, you have to put on your face to look like that, but I think we're going to have a Courtney Clenny thing where she's going to look like a dump truck in about 2.5 weeks. Now, the next day, the teen called his stepmother. Yates allegedly said she wished they weren't caught so they could have, continued this. Again, she made the off-cuff, comment that The teen looked like his dad. She commented that it wasn't really, a big deal. And she commented on the boy's schmeckle, saying that it looked like his father's, but with younger skin. Okay, that's it. This chick is going to the center of the sun. I don't care who I have to politic with. I'm becoming the empress of the universe, and this chick is going directly into the sun because we cannot have her tainting DNA of humanity. This is why aliens will not visit us and give them their technology. Damn, this woman. Now, Yates then commented about the teen's ability, giving him a 7 out of 10 Yelp review, saying he had been around the block. The hell is going? That's it. Florida, if you do not send this woman to Snake Island, I can't. I can barely finish this article. Like, I am so ready to say all of the words. Now, she pled not guilty to the charge in December. Now, this is all the wrong, and I hope she gets all the jail, and I hope she goes directly to Greenland. Not gonna lie. Attorneys behaving badly. Also, is that a mole or does he have a piercing on his head? Also, as a recovering Catholic, I do know this. You are not actually supposed to wear a rosary. I don't know why, but it's considered in poor taste, or at least it was in my diocese. An attorney accused of rape and torture built what appears to be a false persona of both wealth and power. Well, it's working out so well for them right now. As you see, they're wearing prison jumpsuit and a rosary made out of plastic. In the years before, prosecutors accused him of torturing and assaulting 6 women inside his Midtown Manhattan apartment. Ryan Hemphill presented himself to the world as a success story. Across his 3 personal websites and LinkedIn profile, Hemphill, 43, flashed a law degree, an MBA, ownership of a private equity firm, a nonprofit, and a former role at the United Nations. On Thursday, New York prosecutors said that he used that image of wealth and power, both as a sword and shield, to prey on women. No, I was joking. I was just saying she gave him a review. She gave him a 10 or a 7 out of 10 review on his abilities. Because, who does that? Demons walk among us. You know what? The more I do the news, the more I am convinced that Buffy the Vampire Slayer was reporting real news. Hellmouths are a thing, and demons walk among us. I mean, read the news and change my mind. Now, they charged him, so he is charged with 16 counts of assault, strangulation, predatory SA, bribery, among a multitude of other charges. So he would tell the women that he had resources that would make him untouchable, including purported deep connections to law enforcement and organized crime. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg said at a news conference he would impress upon them that going to the authorities would be futile and that he could never be held accountable. Well, how's that going for you in the prison jumpsuit? How'd that going for you, sweetie? I don't think inevitable and unassailable mean what you think they do, sweetheart, because there you are in a prison jumpsuit. But upon further examination, Hemphill's projected image of affluence and influence appears to crumble. Oh, was he lying on his LinkedIn? That's a party foul. Driving his supposed success appears to be 2 companies that he said he founded. New York-based private equity firm Madison Park Capital Investors Incorporated and an online car auction site, the MB Market, according to his LinkedIn. Now, one of his personal websites, boasts clients including an international men's fashion label and one of the largest residential real estate developers in the Midwest. Ooh, Simon Malls? However, the LinkedIn profile and the official website of Madison Park Capital Advisors list its location in Seattle, not New York. The firm's website does not list Hemphill as a founder or even an employee. And the Madison Park Capital Advisors listed on Hemphill's LinkedIn profile also comes out of a Seattle, business. Now, one of the firm's principals, Chris Featherstone, said in an email that he doesn't even know who Hemphill is. He's not related to us whatsoever, Featherstone said before declining to comment further. NBC News couldn't find records for another company under the name Madison Park Capital Advisors in New York or any other state. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission referred NBC to its website, which did not list Hemphill or any companies associated with his name in a database for investment companies and registered investment advisors. So when I saw the news report and it referred to the money and power, I certainly chuckled, said one person who has worked for Hemphill. Either I was scammed or otherwise, my sense is not there that there's not a lot of money and certainly not a lot of power there. The person who spoke with NBC News on the condition of anonymity due to the fear of being associated with the allegations against Mr. Hemphill said that Hemphill frequently complained about his finances. Now, his attorney, Carolyn Ning, a public defender of the Legal Aid Society, yeah, rolling in the dough usually doesn't do public aid. Not that, again, if you want a lawyer who knows how to behave in a court, who has more court experience than most criminal defense attorneys, a public def- defender is going to have so much more working knowledge of court and how to run things in a trial. They do tend to be overworked, not gonna lie, but to assume that a public defender isn't going to have good knowledge of the law or a good working knowledge of how trials are just because they're a public defender, no, it's actually quite the opposite. They're going to have more courtroom, experience than a lot of, private defense attorneys because they're there day in and day out. Now, he did plead not guilty to all the charges against him, but, I don't see this going well for him. The state generally doesn't charge you with 116 felonies if they're mistaken, but New York is close to Massachusetts, so we will keep an eye on this to see if, there was some shenanigans. In an absolutely heartbreaking story, and normally I don't like to go after underage offenders, but this is just so heartbreaking. And if you are 12 years old and you can do this to another person, then we need to radically try to change your spirit, or you just have to stay on your own. You cannot be in society. A boy who was just 12 years old when he and his friends allegedly unalived a softball player, uh, and the two others plead guilty to her murder. Just an absolute waste of three young men's lives and the absolute destruction of an entire family and the loss of this girl and what she could have done for the world. It just burns my biscuits so bad. A Florida teenager faces decades in prison after pleading guilty to a murder he committed when he was just 12 years old, court records show. Christopher Atkins, now 14, pled guilty on Tuesday to first-degree murder, robbery with a firearm, and evidence tampering in the 2023 death of 16-year-old Layla Silvernail, according to Orlando ABC affiliate WFTV. Now, Atkins faces between 40 years and life in prison, but would be eligible for parole after 25 years. Atkins and his friends, Robert Robertson, then 17, and Taj Bruton, then 16, were also accused of killing 17-year-old Michael Hodo Jr. and 16-year-old Camille Quarles. While Atkins was only charged in Silvernail's murder, Robinson and Bruton are charged with triple homicide. What has happened to your soul, your humanity, that at 16 and 17, you can be involved in taking allegedly three people's lives? What corrupted your soul and gave you the inability to see anyone else's, worth to the point that you are okay at 16 and 17 ending three people's lives? Good God, we need help in America. Let's see here. They are slated to go on trial in July. Atkins may testify against the other two, people who did not plead guilty in order to get a plea deal. As Law and Crime previously reported, Robertson is charged with 3 counts of murder in the first degree, 3 counts of robbery with a firearm, and 1 count of tampering with evidence in a criminal proceeding. Bruton stands accused of 3 counts of murder in first degree, an account each of homicide or robbery with a firearm, carjacking with a firearm or weapon, grand theft of a motor vehicle, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon without intent to kill, tampering with evidence in a criminal proceeding, and tampering with electronic monitoring device. Authorities previously said that the victims were found either shot to death or dying in locations across Occoquan, an unincorporated community in central Florida. Silvernail, who had been shot in the head, was discovered unconscious near a dumpster on March 30th, 2023. She unfortunately passed away at the hospital. Hodo was found dead the following morning on March 23rd on the side of the road, also shot in the back of the head, while Quarles was discovered on April 1st, 2023, in the trunk of Silvernail's vehicle. Quarles had been shot 2 times and murdered while in the trunk of the vehicle, prosecutors wrote on an arrest affidavit. Responding to rumors, Marion County Sheriff Billy, no last name, just Sheriff Billy, said at a press conference that Silvernail was there of her own free will that fateful night, citing interviews and phone evidence. He also said that the suspects were committing burglaries and robberies, which they referred to as licks. Now, the sheriff said that there was nothing specific to say there was any rivalry that led to all 6 people, well, basically half of them turning on the other half and unaliving them. But noted each of the suspects is associated with a gang. Basically, simple terms, there is no honor amongst thieves, the sheriff said. At some point, these 3 individuals turned on our 3 victims and murdered them. 2 of them right there, the sheriff said, gesturing to Robert Robertson's and Christopher Atkins' mugshots on the screen. They fled the scene, but they left a lot of evidence in their wake. Southeastern Fast Pitch recently mourned Silvernail as a team player and an amazing athlete. She loved the game of softball and was a great pitcher, could play any team or any position that her team needed. So my heart goes out to the family of all of these victims, but let's really talk to our kids, because I'll give you guys an example of what, you know, kids don't think. My middle daughter, who is 16 going on 27, if you ask her or if you ask me, she wanted this weekend, she had a VW Bug, but then one of the windows won't roll up, so we switched the car insurance from the Bug to, my old car so that she could drive, my old car, keep basically the same rate of insurance, and have something safe to drive back to school. Well, she wanted to just drive the Bug around our neighborhood, but we don't have that insured. Now, she didn't get the point that it only takes one dumb accident to, ruin your entire life driving around without insurance. So we had to tell her that, because as a 16-year-old, you really, really don't think about all of the consequences, the magnitudes of what you're doing. Teach your kids, if you hang out with a bad crowd, you could end up getting turned on. I mean, or go to jail, or just ruining your life. At 16, you think you're invincible. You think, nothing's going to happen to me. And as parents, we don't need to scare our children or terrify them, but we need to make them aware of, reality. I mean, I'm going to have a talk with my kiddos at least. I am not telling you what to do. Every family has to make their own choices, and I don't go in for that telling other people how to raise their children thing. Although I think the parents could need to come to the front of the congregation here, because if we're going to get the Crumleys, what about these kids' parents? At least for me. Well, it's always been my nightmare. I'm not saying it's a common nightmare, but Killer, birds on the attack. Look, I'm telling you, birds scared the ever living crapola to me. Construction project ground to a halt after workers were attacked by predatory birds. We're in their territory. Construction workers at Texas Health Presbyterian Hospital, Dallas, encountered protected birds, spawning a flurry of excitement, according to CBS. Now, the workers were surveying an area before the construction of a helipad when they were attacked by red tailed hawks, as happens. The hawks were buzzing around them pretty closely, so they moved away, said Chris York, president of the hospital. They were making sure that the contractors knew that they were in unwelcome territory. Though the population of these species are healthy, the hawks are federally protected under the Migratory Bird Treaty of 2023. This status has led to red-tailed hawks elsewhere being rescued from fishing lines by teams of firefighters. Though populations of this, oh, there we go. Hawks play a vital role in the ecosystem holding balance. As apex predators, they ensure that prey species populations remain under control. Without hawk predation, many species would grow, out of the environment's abilities to really support them. So you do need apex predators to keep all the little, grass eaters, in check. But again, I don't wanna be attacked by birds, so I am taking constructionologist out of my, possible bucket list career. Well, this is just a warning heads up. Nearly 200,000 cans of a popular food item have been recalled over potential hazards and adverse health consequences. Please don't be SpaghettiOs. Please don't be SpaghettiOs. Well, if you grocery shop at Target, first of all, Imma need to know your success story. Cause look, if I win the lottery, I mean, I'm not gonna tell nobody, but I'm gonna grocery shop at Target, okay? Or Trader Joe's. I haven't decided, but I have given it some thought. The Food and Drug Administration announced that the Class 2 recall in March, food and wine, uh, of these cans of green beans affected at least 200,000 cans of Good and Gather cut green beans because of foreign objects that might be found within the beans. Now, that foreign object has not been identified. Don't be a finger, don't be a finger, don't be a finger. Uh, but there you go. Now, though the can is labeled as Good and Gather, which is a Target house brand, the 14.5-ounce cans were produced by Del Monte Food, and they were produced or distributed to Target stores in Alabama, Arizona, California, Colorado, Georgia, Illinois, Iowa, Indiana, Kansas, Michigan, Minnesota, North Carolina, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, Oregon, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Texas, Virginia, and Wisconsin. So if you bought, cut green beans from any Target, I'd just pitch them. But they do have the actual universal product code. If you do happen to have green beans, from Target, you can plug in the code and it will tell you. So while the foreign object was not identified, Food Safety News reported that foreign objects can include plastic, metal, or other materials introduced during production and potentially introducing, a possible choking hazard or yeah, just throw away the green beans if you got green beans at Target. Like don't quibble, just throw the green beans away. It will be okay. I give you permission. Well, it wasn't the best day for the Navy or the Air Force, but at least no one got hurt, which is kind of what I always tell myself, but, you know, possibly shouldn't be, your level of competency. A U.S. Navy soldier jumped from the cockpit of a Super Hornet just before the fighter jet fell off of an aircraft carrier in the Red Sea. I mean, it could have been a case of the Mondays. Did someone not put the brakes on? The e-brakes were not on. A U.S. Navy sailor jumped from the cockpit of an FA 18 fighter jet just before it fell off of an aircraft carrier into the Red Sea on Monday, a defense official confirmed to Business Insider. The sailor was involved in moving the jet when the incident occurred, officials said. Now, the Navy revealed earlier this week that a Super Hornet and a tow tractor fell off of an aircraft carrier, or the aircraft carrier, the USS Henry S. Truman, into the sea after the move crew lost control of a fighter aircraft. Now, aren't those expensive, and shouldn't we have like a procedure to keep them on the aircraft carrier? I mean, there's a reason that I wouldn't promote myself to be an aircraft carrier traffic controller, but I would hope that the people that you do have there are good at their jobs. Now, while it didn't say why the crew had lost control of the plane, it did say that one sailor was a bit hurt. They did manage to get out of the cockpit though before it sunk. It is unclear how much time passed between the sailor leaving the plane and it falling into the water. The defense official said it's standard practice for a sailor to be in the jet's cockpit when the aircraft is being moved in case the crew needs to use the emergency brake or steer. In its statement on the incident, the Navy said that sailors towing the jet took immediate action to move clear of the aircraft before it fell overboard, and that the sailor was in the cockpit at the time. The Navy said Monday that the FA 18, which is estimated to have cost about $60 million, so just a scotch, uh, was under tow in the Truman hangar bay when the area underneath the flight deck, it's the area underneath the flight deck where the aircraft received maintenance when it fell into the Red Sea. I am having all the questions. I mean, how does this happen and or not happen on a regular basis, and why did it happen here? I'm sure we will find out the answer in 70 to 80 years when the Pentagon releases whatever it looked into for this. I would not hold your breath while waiting for answers, but eventually we will get them, possibly. Now, I didn't have the greatest date night, but I didn't have this bad a date night. A Virginia woman was left traumatized, and yes, same if this happened to me, after finding a snake in her margarita at a Mexican restaurant. I mean, that would just ruin margaritas for me, and I only get a margarita when I'm at a Mexican restaurant. This would be just a terrible day in my neighborhood. A Virginia woman said she had a night to remember when she went to eat at a Mexican restaurant and ended up eye to eye with a scaly, slithering creature. Carletta Andrews visited the Patron Mexican restaurant and cantina in Sanston with her husband to enjoy a nice night out on April 16th. However, at the end of her meal, she found a baby snake in her margarita. Well, they said baby snake. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell to the no. No, no, no. No, Mo is getting an all expense paid to the trip to the Sailor Moon store in Japan if this happens to her. Look, just no way. Look, I don't like snakes. I understand that they have an important part of our ecosystem, just like possums, but they scare the ever living crap out of me. I don't understand. It's something about not having legs. Who knows? But just know. I leaned in to take a sip and I noticed something hitting me in the forehead. I looked at my husband and I was like, "What is that?" When I turned around, I saw a snake in my margarita. I mean, now, y'all, am I saying that I wouldn't watch Samuel L. Jackson in Snakes in My Margarita? Because I would watch the hell out of Samuel L. Jackson just for 2 hours yelling about a snake in his margarita with various cuss words. But I'm fairly easy to please. She told the outlet that she saw the reptile move and wrap around her straw. It's a party gift. Workers attempted to remove the snake with a stick, but had no avail. Another restaurant goer eventually grabbed the animal and took it outside. I was left shaking and I was traumatized, Andrew told 8 News of the incident, adding that the restaurant offered to move her to another seat, but she decided to just leave instead. Now, Andrew is worried that there may be more snakes in the restaurant. Is the mom there? She told the outlet, highlighting how the reptile in her drink was a baby. The owner of Patron Mexican restaurant and cantina told 8 News that the snake had likely entered through the air conditioning unit, and he also reportedly told the outlet that no precautions were being taken to keep the incident from happening again. 8 News reviewed records from the Virginia Department of Health that revealed that the restaurant had several violations during its last inspection, December 2024, including mold, broken handles, and a missing ceiling tile. Now, the violations were later corrected within the week. So, there you go. If you would like a baby snake, apparently you might get lucky too. I mean, it looks harmless, but if something pokes me in the face when I'm drinking a margarita that's in my margarita thing, I'm not sh I'm not going back. Although, I would let them pay me back an endless supply of chips and salsa. I can be bought. I can be bribed. Well, your job may suck, and today you might not wanna go into the office, but it doesn't suck as much as these guys' job. An overturned truck covered an entire Texas highway in $8 million worth of dimes. So yes, these workers are out there hand collecting dimes. The Texas Department of Transportation took on an unusual cleanup operation after an overturned truck lost its load of 8 million dimes worth $800,000. Now, the Texas Department of Public Safety said the 18-wheeler rolled onto its side in the southbound lanes of US 81 or 287 near Farm Road 1655 in Avalort. Now, the department said the truck had gone off the road and the driver overcorrected, causing the vehicle to overturn. Both the driver and passenger were taken to the hospital with minor injuries and are expected to be okay. Now, the Avalor Fire Department confirmed that the truck had lost its entire load of about 8 million, freshly minted dimes. The highway was closed for several hours while the Department of Transportation and crews cleaned up all the loose change. So there you go, picking up dimes. That's not a bad idea. They should just take a magnet. I didn't even think of that. And this is a public service announcement. Now, I am a big fan of thrifting. I love thrifting. My kids love Goodwill. It's, really heartwarming to know that my oldest daughter would rather go to Goodwill than to the mall because, having a big family, when your kids naturally just want to thrift for clothes, it is helpful. But you need to wash the clothes before you wear them. If you're gonna pop some tags, if you're gonna wear my grandpa's jacket, Imma need you to put it in the wash machine, okay? Now, a man contracted a shocking skin disease from wearing thrifted clothes. Yeah, wash them. Experts say to wash newly bought clothes before wearing them, especially if they're from, a secondhand store. Now, again, I don't know who needs to hear this, but wash clothes from thrift stores before you wear them. I didn't know that this was something that needed to be put out there, but now you know. Now, unfortunately, this one poor soul learned this lesson, well, the hard way. According to Jam Press, a TikToker, one never two one who preferred only to be referred to by his social media name, contracted a skin infection most likely due to never washing his thrifted store items. He explained in a now viral video that he contracted musculum contagiosum, a viral skin infection that consists of small raised bumps on the skin. Now, despite looking painful, apparently the condition is harmless and does not require treatment, according to Need to Know. Although the skin disease is often spread through skin to skin or sexual contact, the TikToker blames his unwashed thrift clothes for his welts. The content creator's assumption might be accurate because, according to Francis Cozen, a Cornell University senior lecturer in fiber science and apparel design, garments are often treated with fabric softener, a stain resistant or water repellent clothing. Or coating, or an anti mildew agent that can cause irritation, redness, or itching. Now, those are new clothing. Now, his vulnerable video received millions of views and thousands of comments, with some empathizing with him. I hope you get well soon and healthy as before, and others confused about how he made this mistake. I would like to RSVP to that group. Why don't you wash your clothes first? Said one commenter. New fear unlocked, another person chimed in. More shock because I just found someone bought clothes and didn't wash them, another person wrote. Dr. Charles Puza, a board certified New York City dermatologist, also reiterated in a TikTok video the importance of washing your clothes before putting them on, especially if you like fast fashion like Shein or Temu. They have things on them that you don't want on your skin, he said. It's important to note that musculum contagiosum isn't the only skin condition that someone can become infected with if they wear clothes straight from pop-in tags. Now, people put themselves at risk for contracting ringworm and other just icky ickies. Now, according to the Mayo Clinic, ringworm, which affects the outer layer of the skin and is not actually a worm but a fungal infection, is itchy, scaly, and contagious. Now, ringworm can't spread through clothing, towels, bedding that has been disinfected after use by someone with ringworm. However, if you are in a thrift store and someone with ringworm tried on that shirt and you're going to try it on too, go home and wash yourself in Purell. That's all I got to say about that. Now, our final story, we have found the ultimate Florida man. Final form Florida man, we have found him. And just for your, let me see if there is a video. I thought they had a video on this. Well, they don't, but it's final form Florida man, camo, no shoes on, wrestling an alligator on the freeway. I mean, if this isn't final form Florida man, I don't know who is. Just another day in Florida, a barefoot man was captured on video wrestling a giant alligator on Interstate 95 near Jacksonville. I can't confirm that, but he is wrestling an alligator willingly, so I don't know. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office teamed up with the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission and the Florida Highway Patrol and a local alligator wrangler after the gator was spotted recently in the median of I-95 or I-295 in Jacksonville's South Side area. If you're cruising down I-95 or I-295 on the south side yesterday and thought you saw a barefoot man wrestling a giant alligator in the median, nope, your eyes weren't playing tricks on you. You didn't get some bad crystal. That's what actually happened, the Florida Sheriff's Office wrote in a Facebook post. Because, it's Florida. In the video, the man can be seen using a pole to engage the gator, who snaps and whips his tail at him in the grassy median as cars speed by on either side. He wrangles it onto the shoulder of the highway, then sits on its back to muzzle the beast, all while shirtless, wearing camouflage shorts and a sleeveless camo shirt. Eventually, the man and a responder lift the gator off the shoulder of the highway and load it into the back of a pickup truck. Never in my wildest dreams, says an off camera voice as the gator wrestler laughs. Now, the man who helped authorities wrangle the massive gator on I 95 is Mark Dietrich, better known as Blue Collar Brawler on social media. So let me see if I can pull up his video of this. Here's a story. Because I want to see a video of him fighting the alligator. Okay, let me pull this up because why give you an article when I can show you this? Stop screen, present screen, share screen. Andy's handsome. Well, I mean, I'm here. Let's
Never my wildest dreams.
Y'all, I have just had the startling and terrifying realization that youngest most feral will be doing this as a career if I let him know it's an opportunity. I need all of you and the internet to work with me to save me from getting gray hair by making sure that my youngest most feral doesn't know that gator wrestling is a career. Because if he finds out that this is a career opportunity, I am never getting him to go back to school again. So I am suddenly seeing 20 years into my future, you guys, and it's looking like I'm gonna need a lot of boxes of red hair dye. I know he's got camo shorts, a camo shirtless top. I mean, or not sleeveless top, not shirtless. He isn't shirtless, but that could have made this clip a lot better. Anywho, there you go. For us ladies and us terrified boy moms out there that are going to do everything in our powder and power to make sure that our sons never know that this is a viable career option in Florida. Anywho, let me see who I can send you guys to. It feels weird to have a day where I can work on a bunch of stuff and I don't have court. So let me see who I can send you guys to before I run to the store to get stuff to make French onion soup and all the things. Let's see here. We have a lot of. All right, so I'm going to send you over to Nicholas Starro, and it looks like MLS are covering another trial. It is the Christopher Schur murder trial, day 4. I have not kept up with this case, but, um, you know, honestly, anything that's not Karen Reed might be a little bit of a palate cleanser today. I will be putting out some videos today, working on things, getting out a breakdown video of day 7 and a lot of stuff today, and working on my puppet inspired by Shaun the Sheep. So I have a lot of stuff to do, and hopefully it will work out, and I will see you guys. Expect a longer form, about 30-minute video, 40-minute video about the Lori Vallow just case in total, and a couple of other things coming out today. So have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye, you guys.